Here at Sydney, Australia. I'm having a discussion with Dr. Ahmar Mahboob. You are called Mr.
Sunny Boy.
Sunny Boy. Yeah. My friend Sunny Boy is an expert studying language, particularly for me it is in a very new point of view. He will introduce the discipline. It is not in the regular or structural or modern linguistics. The opposite. Very interesting. Okay, Sunny Boy. Please introduce your discipline. I also want you to mention your name and background.
I go by Sunny Boy, that's my Aboriginal name. My birth name is Ahmar Mahboob. I was born in Pakistan.
Okay.
And I've been adopted by the Aboriginal families up in far north Queensland. So a lot of the work that I've been doing over the last years is heavily influenced by understandings of Aboriginal cultures, traditions and practices. Especially where I live up in far north Queensland, it's very remote, lots of crocodiles. And the people of that area, so my indigenous family, a lot of that family was actually captured in the 1940s by the British.
Okay.
And brought down in chains to various different places. So 1940s is the same era when Indonesia, Pakistan was given so-called independence. The same people who gave us independence were still capturing lands.
Okay.
Right? So the idea of independence is a myth. Because if we were independent, then we would have our independent ways of making knowledge. We would have our independent economies. We would have an independent academia. We would have independent ways of doing things.
Okay.
But notice that all of our countries are totally dependent. We are dependent on their money, their economies. They're dependent on their sciences. We are dependent on their languages. We are dependent on their knowledge. We are dependent on the way that they define various disciplines.
Okay.
And notice their disciplines keep changing. So what you study today is obsolete within a year's time.
Yes.
Right? It keeps changing. But only they have the license. So my colleagues at the University of Sydney and others in elite institutions have the license of creating knowledge,
Okay.
which is considered legitimate. Everybody else is not considered legitimate. And part of that is actually the colonization of knowledge making.
New dependency.
It's not neo. It's just so this is where they use language to trick us.
Okay.
So let me read. I'm actually been working on this paper, which I was telling you earlier, and this paper has no references.
Okay.
Like most of my new writings, including some of my new books, no references. But instead of references, I include quite a bit of poetry. So here I will read the end of the introduction. I have this little poem called Language. So it sort of defines language from the way I see it. Like computer languages program machines. Like computer languages program machines, human language programs people. And while we do have other senses, language can shape how we use those too. Language co-evolved with where she grew, with lands, creatures, and seasons she knew. All our elders, learned all that was needed and taught it to us through Boli and practice. Boli is a speech. So taught it to us through Boli and practice. The flow of sounds, the melodies of song, the rhythm of knowledge, the grammars of dance, the meaning of colors, the semantics of smell, the discourse of flavors,
Okay.
the sense of touch. A harmonic system in a mystical garden. All that changed when our tongue was cut, our laws replaced by foreign words, our knowledge drowned in information floods, our wisdom stolen through tests and books, our tradition slaughtered by fads and trends, our integrity replaced with greed and wants, our humanity turned into an infectious womb, an agitated system in a turbulent existence. So,
Excellent.
thank you.
Always great.
Thank you. So you can see here that language is more than just a bit of sounds. We use every sensory system that we have to create meanings, to understand the world around us, and to engage with each other. Not just sounds. Like language is Boli is just sounds, but we use every sense that we have. Right? If people cannot speak, they can still communicate through sign language. If people cannot see, they can still do other things. People who cannot see or speak can use braille, which is touch. So we have multiple sensory systems that we engage and use in our lives. And it's not just humans. Every creature on earth has to make meanings around it. Like an ant, you would think, it should be, I've always totally amazed that you leave a little bit of food in a room in the study, and it's not the kitchen, but if you come back 20 minutes later, there will be ants there. How did they find it? They don't have a GPS, right? But they have the ability to generate knowledge. They have an ability to understand the reality as it exists for them in the world that they live in. So it's for me, it's not even a question. Ants have language. They can do it. They don't use the language we do, but that's just because we are different.
Yes.
Right? Cats have language, dogs have language, elephants have language. Every creature on earth has language. So this idea that language is only human and it's only specific, and humans are blessed with language and other creatures are not, creates an illusion that humans are better than other creatures. And through that creation of superiority, we feel that it's our right to cut down forests, destroy environment so that we can become developed. This idea that humans have this right to take over everybody else's lives, kill them, remove them from land, destroy their livelihoods, destroy their environment, because of the way that we consider and create knowledge. And language and linguistics is just one of them. Essentially, the whole university is designed to achieve that goal. Right? So the University of Sydney was established not to empower the indigenous peoples. It was established so that the Europeans, the Britishers, could occupy Australia.
Okay.
Right? Its purpose was occupation and colonization. That is the goal of this university, and it has never revised it. So obviously,
that's including the goal of creating new disciplines
Absolutely.
of linguistics, modern linguistics.
Not just linguistics, all of them.
Okay.
Sociology, even education, history, geography, mathematics, all of these disciplines are created in order to manipulate us and the environment around us. Right, so if you were to, this is one, when I visit Indonesia, especially when I visit some of the Islamic universities, so I was recently in Yogyakarta, Jogja, and I said the Islamic University, and I asked my colleagues, we call them Islamic universities, but what is Islamic about it? You have the same disciplines that the Western universities are teaching.
Yeah.
You're using the same references that they're using. Where is Islamic about it? Just because you are Muslim doesn't make it Islamic. Like if you want to create an Islamic university, we have to first understand the principles of Islamic sciences, which were integrated.
Yes.
Right, so for example, Omar Khayyam, right, a great scholar.
Yeah,
one of
Yogyakarta.
No, Omar Khayyam is...
Omar Khayyam, the former Omar Khayyam.
Yes. He was 800 years ago.
Okay.
Was a scholar, a Muslim scholar, very influential.
Yeah.
He was a philosopher, he was a poet, he was a biologist, He was a geographist, he was a geologist, he was an astronomer, he was a physicist, he was a chemist, all of it. He was a historian, he was a religious scholar, all
Not
of it.
really, not divided
No.
into different
No,
disciplines.
absolutely not. It was always together because everything has to be thought of in relation to each other.
Okay.
When you just focus on one little thing and forget how it's related to everything else, then leads to destruction. It leads to manipulation. It leads to manipulation and a long-term destruction because we are damaging things without actually understanding the complexities of it. And that's what linguistics does.
Okay. So it is very naturalistic or humanistic, or I think naturalistic.
Yes, I would say that.
I think, really sorry, it's very interesting, but I need to stop because we cannot put everything in one short video. Okay, everyone, I'm really interested in studying this. If you want to study more, search the name of Dr. Ahmar Mahboob.
Yeah, or subaltern practice, subaltern linguistics, credible approach, positive discourse analysis. So
Those are the keywords.
these are some of the keywords that I'm technicalizing, Boli, and trying to use them to create an alternative way to do education.
And I think it will be very influential to our education system. People say in postmodern era, postmodern education or whatever, we need to find something new, a new point of view to enrich. Of course, we are not going to take totally, but we need to enrich our perspectives, including perspective from my new colleague, that is Sunny Boy from Australia, University of Sydney in Sydney. Thank you very much, Ikhsanudin, Universitas Tanjungpura, Pontianak. I'm here with Stella Prancisca, and the camera is with Ana Fergina.